Hello, hello. How are you doing today? I'm finally home. Yay! There's no place like home, right? So for those of you who are dads or celebrating Father's Day, happy Father's Day to you today. This is Anna Stropnik coming to you live, this time from Fort Lauderdale. Yay! So hope you all had a great weekend today. Type in where you're watching this from. I would love to shout out some highs in the beginning. We're going to be talking about time freedom today. So what does time freedom mean to you? I'll tell you a little bit more about what it means to me. If this is the first time you're watching any of my videos, my name is Anna Stropnik. I help people get healthy, live longer, have more energy, better sleep, and also less pain. I also help them reach their time and financial freedom. So let's dive in. Who do we have? Oh, okay. Oh, happy Father's Day, Paul. So let me share a story. I was just at a conference on yesterday, right? With my company in Jacksonville, and who was the person who was giving the main presentation was a doctor chiropractor, and he was sharing his story on why time freedom for him. His name is Dr. Dondi Nettles, and he is in our company. He used to be number 4 chiropractic office in the whole state of Arizona. So more patients that he saw, like it was about 500 patients that he saw every single week, less time he had. And everything was going great, like that was the point of having your own business, is building it to help more and more people. So more he was doing that, more time he was putting into his work. His day would start at like 4 o'clock in the morning, all the way until 10 o'clock at night, because he would do his prayers and exercise and before he would actually go to work. And then after he would finish his last patient, which would be around 6 o'clock, then he would end up doing paperwork all the way until 10 o'clock at night. So what happened, he had a son, and then things started changing for him. He was looking for different ways that this is really not life, because he was actually leaving home to go to work, kissing his son in the forehead at 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time he would come back home, his son would be asleep again. At 10 o'clock at night, give him a kiss goodnight. So he had established business, he had finances, but what he was missing was time. So he decided to do something about it, or at least look for other options, because he was not happy with that. And the moment that hit him was when he watched after winding down from work late at night, he was home and he looked at Facebook, and he was scrolling down, and then he saw, oh, this looks like my sofa. And then he was looking on their sofa, and the cushions looked the same. Oh yeah, this definitely looks like my sofa. And then he saw a 3-year-old kid, and then he recognized his son. So the moment that he saw that he recognized the sofa before he recognized his own son was the moment when he decided, this is something that I definitely want to change. And I want to share with you my story as well. Why is time freedom important to me? The same thing, after I exhausted my family that was flying here from Europe, I have a 3-year-old son as well. We had to find a way that we can be watching our son, and one is working and one is with him, and my husband travels a lot. So I went and went to school, and I started working as a medical coder. So I thought it was great, you know, having like 8 to 5 job, but then I did not realize that most of the days I would actually leave my son in daycare at 7 o'clock in the morning and pick him up at 6 o'clock at the best, which is when they close. And my son was one of the last kids there. There was like usually 3 of them there waiting to be picked up, and most of the nights he was the last one to be picked up, and usually the first one there in the morning. So that was absolutely breaking my heart, and I did that for probably like 4 or 5 months. And I would be crying on my way home, because I would be stuck in traffic, and there was just nothing I could have done. So I promised myself that I will make that and change that situation last year, and then this opportunity came to me. So basically, I'm really grateful every single day that I found a way to work from home and to have more time with my family. So now, what does the life of somebody successful in my business look like? So Dr. Dundee, after a few years, he made it to the level where he sold his business, and he retired, full-time retired, and went and stay-at-home dad. So there's nothing more important when you're a parent to actually be able to be home with your kids when they need you, that you are there. So there's nothing that fulfills the heart better than that. And what my vision is exactly that. Like in the next few years, I want to retire from my full-time job and be home with the family. So this is something that I see it's possible, and why not me? So these are my main reasons for that. So my vision is to live off of my residual income. And I'm reading a book just now, actually, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was reading like few chapters here and there, but I never actually read the whole book. And if you ever heard or like read that book, you will see that Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about residual income, the difference between liability and an asset. So often we think that that our home, our main home, and our cars, that's an asset, because that's something that financial institutions are making us believe that that's our asset. But what it really is, it's our liability. So our homes, like, we are tied to the mortgage. So we are actually working for our mortgage and for the bank all of our lives. So there's a big difference between an asset and liability. So the idea to actually break through is through building an asset. And this is what the home-based business, network marketing, is one of the ways to build residual income, to build asset. Definitely great way. So another way you can do it with the real estate or bonds or shares, but network marketing is also one way to build an asset. So you can retire early and have the time freedom with your family. So that's what makes me so excited. Now I want to talk to you a little bit more about our economy today. So we all know that we work more than we get paid for, and it's unfortunately what's happening in the world everywhere. So 70% of people in the United States will not be able to retire at the age of 65. So you will find them more and more packing groceries at Publix or like different stores, saying welcome at Walmart, delivering pizzas for Domino's. So all of those just to make a little bit of a side income for their families. And don't you think they would rather be home with their grandkids and provide for their grandkids? So unfortunately, this is the way the situation is right now. Then if you see, like, there's more and more self-checkouts in the stores, like if you go to Home Depot, Walmart, all of them, they have now self-checkouts. Airports, there's no reason for the person behind the counter anymore. You actually go and do a self-checkout. So what does that mean? That means that somebody lost their job, and we're going to be seeing that more and more and more. Then we have like qualified people who went to school to have that like a good paying job, are still probably paying off their student loans, and they're getting replaced by people who work for pennies, sometimes even like ashore. So this is what's happening everywhere in the world. We're just not getting paid, and there's no such a thing as job security. It's really illusion. Job security is now our illusion. So then when you look at like for example Uber and Lyft, people actually use their personal cars to be a taxi service. So great, you know, technology, great the way you can use your phone and your car and actually have be self-employed doing that. The same thing, people are renting their homes and they're belonging to Airbnb. So they're renting part of their home. And do you think that people do this because they're lonely? No, they do it because they need extra money. So they're putting their lives at risks at sometimes. So it's not comfortable to having strangers in part of your home, or having somebody in your back seat, because it's a certain risk to that. But what we do is we do it anyway just to make an extra buck. So and then another thing that's happening, like I visited a few small businesses, and what makes me sad is like business owners are like trying to cut down costs on every corner, but they're like the business is not there anymore. Like so they end up working more and more and more, and they're in that like vicious circle where they cannot stop, but they're like drowning and hardly making it. So that's a reality with every small business nowadays. So they're just trying to keep afloat. And then there's so many people right now praying for their ways out of foreclosures, that their car doesn't get repossessed, and there's just hardships in every way, like abuse and evictions. There's so much going on. So we do have a better option. Home-based business, network marketing is definitely a better option for people to start their own business at low cost, and like I said before, to build an asset. It has never been a better time. It has never been a worse time in the economy, but it has never been a better time to start home-based business. You will find now that 1 in 3 people will actually start a home-based business nowadays. So when picking out the right business for you, you can either go by reputation, like what company has a good reputation, like long reputation. But what is the risk in that? In that case, you will have, everybody has heard of this. People who have made success, you know, they're at the top. It's very hard to get to that level when everybody knows what you're talking about. So I'm not saying to start with something like absolutely brand new, but I would like weigh, do you want to go with reputation, or do you want to go with somebody who has momentum? So that's one thing. And then also like something that, you know, sometimes we don't want to be in a business that something is maybe like too complicated for us. Like I'm not saying that my what I do is easy to explain, but we do have momentum. We have people, like 99% of people have never heard of us. And we have something that everybody's going to be talking about in 10, 20 years. So the real time to join is now. And like if you're looking for something where you're actually going to make legacy from, you have to look at these things. So anybody can go in the home-based business to sell makeup or to sell candles, but it's going to be very hard to actually build legacy from that. So just my advice. And also, since I'm like super hyped up about like finishing off this month really strong, we are doing absolutely great, and just the things that I learned this weekend are like they blew my mind. If you watched my video yesterday, I'm gonna be repeating like some of that again, and I will be sharing more stuff on what I learned as well. So what I have actually is I wanted to give out an opportunity. So I'm looking for somebody serious. I'm looking for 5 people who will join my business this month and who are serious about building this. So if you're not serious, if you would just like, you know, if you're just thinking about something, but if you're serious, if you're like me, if you want to make a legacy, if you want to achieve time freedom, if you want to work hard for first few years to not work for the rest of your life, or work on or live on a residual income, then this is for you. So I'm actually giving away a gift. I have 5 books for 5 people for this month. It's a GoPro from Eric Worre, which is basically a Bible for our profession. So I'm giving this out, and if you're interested, please personal message me. Either way, message me. I would love to have a conversation with you, and I hope you all have a great rest of the evening. Thank you for watching.